Hi guys, we're back once again. Look, first a little short story. A week or two ago, a friend of mine actually posted in our Facebook group that he bought this cap. It's a new era cap with Hawaii written on it, and I really love the look of it. So I wrote him and asked him if he could, if he's stopping by the shop once more, if he could pick one up for me and maybe send it to me. Of course, I would pay him for the trouble and for the cap and everything. And a week after that, he sent the cap to me with no extra charge, with a little note telling me how much he liked my channel and he wanted to give me this cap as a gift. I was overwhelmed. So thank you so much, Joachim. You didn't have to do this. I'm enjoying doing this channel without getting gifts and stuff, but that that this gift really warmed my heart. And I want to tell you guys that I appreciate you as much as you might appreciate me, and I hope we have a good thing going here. And thank you once again, Joachim, for the really nice gift. I love you, man. Anyway, let's take a look at all the Omega watches that I have in my house at the moment. They're not all mine because I borrowed some and blah blah blah. I'm going to tell you that in the video. But let's have a little Omega bonanza together. So let's flip the camera and go to the table. And I can't snap my fingers because I have the baby watch here. So snappity snap. Okay guys, I just wanted to make a video of these 4 Omega watches before I send some of them back. The Planet Ocean one isn't mine. My friend Yoya sent it to me and I'm really thankful for that. The Speedmaster is from my own collection, and I'm keeping one of the Seamasters. I don't know which one yet. I've actually unboxed the black one because it's leaning towards the black one the most. I don't know. I really like the way this the black dial changes character when hitting the light. When you look straight at it, it's pitch black, but when you give it some light, it's almost gray. And I'm really fond of that transformation by the light. I think it looks a little more classy than the white one, a little more subdued, a little more elegant. I'm liking the blacked out color matched date wheel. The white one also has a color matched date wheel, but I don't know, I really liking the look of this one. And I also think that the red color on that second hand and on the Seamaster writing matches better with black than it does with white. So I'm considering keeping the black Seamaster. There we go, 20 centimeter wrist, as you see. I already unboxed both of these watches in a separate video, and I am going to do a review video with all the pros and cons and all the facts. Bracelet doesn't taper at all. That's actually one of the cons that I'm going to mention, but one of the really big pros with the Seamaster is actually the quick adjust slider here in the clasp. You just push that little button and you have, I think it's 3.3 centimeters of extra space for your wrist. Screwed links on the bracelet, really hard to screw out because they're actually glued with Loctite, so I had trouble screwing those screws up. But yeah, love the brushing on the clasp and that little polished detail there. I'm really digging this watch. The lume is great. It's a little chunky, a little more chunky than I'm used to nowadays. I used to wear chunky watches, 43, 44 millimeters, but this is a chunky one, and it is a little sharp on those bracelet edges and actually a little sharp on the case as well, as is the new Speedmaster. But I'm leaning towards keeping the black in my collection, and it's a wonderful watch with a coaxial movement, open case back, so you can see that beautiful coaxial 8800 movement or 8800 movement ticking away. Yeah, she's a beauty. So black Planet Ocean there, and then we have the white Planet Ocean. And the reason I'm still considering this one is that I want to have a white watch. As I said in the other video, I was looking for a substitute for the Rolex Polar Explorer, and this watch, I mean, even though I think that the black color is a little more classy, stealthy, a little cooler, this one catches your eye more. It has a little more attitude than the black one. And I can't set the time because I still have plastic around this one. I have not decided if I'm going to keep the white one or the black one yet, or maybe if I just can find it in my financial wallet, keeping them both, and then further along the road selling one of them. But it's the exact same watch as the black one. It's just white. Same clasp, same bracelet, same watch, just two different colors. You can see the plastics are on. Bracelet, as on the black one and as on the Speedmaster, is a little sharp on some places. It has some sharp edges, but it's, I mean, this white color, it's more legible than the black one. I mean, you can see the time wherever you are, and if it's really dark in a room, and if you compare the lume between the two, the lume on the white one actually shines up the whole dial, because that dial is white and it looks like the whole dial is luminescent. But on the black one, the lume is it's just shining up the lume spots. So and one more thing, if you compare the white one with the black one, you can see when you're looking at it straight on like this, or maybe like this, you can see that the waves, if you really like the wave dial, then the waves are really showing up much more on the black one than they are on the white one. In some lights, you can barely see those waves on the white one. I don't know if if you look at it like this, you can barely see the waves, and in some lights they actually show more. But whichever angle you look at the black one, you see those waves staring back at you. So if you like the wave pattern, if you like it really much, then I should keep the black one. But the white one, as I said, it has its pros. It's white, it's more in your face. I do not have a white dial watch at the moment. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I have a white dial watch. I have the Phoebus Voyager with the mother of pearl white. But this looks special as well. But somehow, and this is maybe a stupid thing to say, but somehow I think that the white looks a little cheaper. I mean, it's not a cheap watch, and I don't mind cheap watches, but if you look at the white, and a couple of friends of mine who are not watch collectors have said this to me as well, if you look at the white one, it just looks like a little cheaper watch than the black one. And I think it goes with the black one being kind of an elegant color, and it looks like the dial is more expensive and luxurious with that glow. When it glows back at you, I think it has to do with the glow. It glows back at you and it feels a little more luxury, a little more expensive, a little more. The white one does not have that glare, and it just, this one looks a little more exclusive. People think, and I actually have come to agree with them. I think so as well. But that does not change the fact that I want to have a white dial watch, and then I think that if I'm looking for a substitute for the Rolex Explorer, then I should choose this one and not that one. But every white watch that I've had in my life, I've actually grown tired of in the end and sold off. So yeah, I don't know. Now, the Planet Ocean. Beautiful, beautiful watch. If you saw my unboxing, you've seen this watch already. It's a 600 meters diver, and it's not as thick as you thought it would be. I actually prefer this bracelet over the one on the Seamaster, and I wonder if they would fit. I think that maybe this should be a 20 millimeters bracelet. No, that actually looks wider on the Seamaster. But I wonder if, because the Planet Ocean comes in a larger size, this is the 39 millimeters version, and this bracelet is cool. It's all brushed. I prefer all brushed bracelets. It has the same clasp with the same glide lock function in there. Let me just press that one. Yeah, it's actually on this side. It gives you a couple of centimeters, but not as much. Yeah, not as much. Because you see, when you push that out, let's take the black one here, and let's push that one out. There it goes, all the way. You see, you have really much more extension than you have on the Planet Ocean, and that has to do with the clasp itself. The clasp is longer on the Seamaster, shorter on the Planet Ocean, and because it's a smaller watch. And it actually is, maybe it's, oh sorry, I was off camera there. Maybe it's a little bit wider as well, or it's the same width. Looks like it might be the same width, or maybe a centimeter wider, but it's longer, so you have a longer extension here than on the Planet Ocean, which is actually funny because the Planet Ocean should be a more accomplished diver than the Seamaster, because it's a 600 meters diver. The Seamaster only has 300 meters of water resistance. It has this helium escape valve, crown at the 3 o'clock, but the date is at the 3 o'clock. On the Seamaster, it's at the 6 o'clock, which I much more prefer. But this is a smaller watch. It feels better on the wrist because of that smaller profile, and I don't know if it's thinner though. We'll see in the specifications. I'm gonna put them in the video as well. Yeah, Planet Ocean. I'm liking the numerals with the 12, 9, and 6, but Seamaster is a little more symmetrical. It has no numerals. This one has 3 because the date window takes up the spot of the 3 o'clock. So yeah, it looks a little more symmetrical than the Planet Ocean. Oh, let's check the bezels out. 120 click bezel on the Planet Ocean. Feels smooth to turn. No moving in between the lines. Perfectly good bezel action. And on the Seamaster, it's a little louder, a little more ratchety, but it also has no movement in between clicks, and it aligns perfectly. Yeah, so I don't know what you prefer. This is actually a coin-edged bezel. It's a little easier to grip on the Planet Ocean, even though it's smaller than on the Seamaster. I think this shape is called a scalloped bezel. It's a little harder to grip, and I would imagine if you have gloves or diving gloves or something, it would be harder, but it's fairly easy to move around. A little louder sounding, a little more subdued, which I prefer actually, but almost the same bezel action. And then we have the Speedy, Omega's most iconic watch, the watch that went to the moon. And this is the new Speedmaster with the new movement. It has a higher power reserve than all of those watches. It has no moving bezel, no rotating bezel. It's a chronograph with the pushers on the right side. It's a fantastic watch. It's actually a manual wind watch, so it has no I mean, if you do not give it a spin, it does not have any rotor on the back. I'm going to show you that now. So it will not power up from your wrist. You have to power it up manually. But if you look at that movement, look at that beautiful movement. It's a work of art to just look at the back of this watch. The first watch worn on the moon, and it is beautiful. Sometimes I just take the watch off my wrist and just stare at the back. It's a coaxial master chronometer movement.
and yeah, the bracelet is so nice. And the one thing that I like almost the most with this watch is that clasp. Look at the look of this clasp. It's such a beauty. So thin in profile. I mean, this is the thinnest clasp. It's matched with the bracelet, and it is actually even, or it might be, no, it's actually perfectly matched with the bracelet. I'm really liking this clasp. Gives me a little retro vibe, and I'm liking the taper. It tapers down to a substantial amount, as you see there. I'm loving this bracelet. I'm loving this clasp. It's just a fantastic addition to an already fantastic watch, and it's all you need in your collection, really. Sorry, I just have to configure my lighting there. Black, white, classic, subdued, and yet an icon in its own. One thing that I don't like about this watch, and that actually disappointed me, and I actually saw it in early reviews, is that it is sharp. The bracelet edges are sharp. The case edges are actually quite sharp as well. I don't know why this is so, because it's not a cheap watch, and Omega is a well-known brand, one of the most popular watch brands in the world. And I don't know why this is the way it is. I mean, it's quite sharp on the Speedmaster, it's quite sharp on the Seamaster, and it's actually not as sharp as on the Planet Ocean. Sorry for that, we have a lot of winds here. The bracelet is a little smoother on the Planet Ocean, and yeah, the case is a little sharp as well. I don't know why this is. I haven't experienced this sharpness on any other watch except for like some of the cheap Chinese homage watches that I've reviewed through the years, and it's a bummer. It actually cheapens the watches a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I still love the watches, and I get that they are iconic, and that the watches overall feel like really high quality watches, and Omega is on my top 5 favorite brands, but I don't get the sharpness. I don't get why it is the way it is, and why it has to be the way it is. So that's the Omega Bonanza. Sorry that I shipped away the Moon watch before making this video. The Moon Swatch, I'm sorry, because it would have been fun having that watch in the video as well. The cheapest Omega that money can buy today, the Moon Swatch. So 4 Omega watches on the table, 2 Seamasters, black and white Seamaster 300, 1 Planet Ocean, and 1 Speedmaster. If you had to choose only one, which one would it be? In my humble opinion, if I had to choose only one of these, it would be the Speedy. It's just my favorite of the bunch, the most iconic watch that Omega has ever made, in my humble opinion. And a close second to that would be one of the Seamasters, because if a close second would have been the Planet Ocean, I actually would have bought that instead of the Seamasters. But I'm liking the Planet Ocean. It's just something with the design that I actually like better with the Seamaster. I'm liking the size of it. I wish that the Seamaster actually was in this size and this little smaller configuration, and I would have preferred a coin edged on the Seamaster, but there's something just more appealing with this. It looks badass. The Seamaster looks badass, and I'm not even a James Bond fan. I couldn't care less if the Seamaster has a association with the Bond franchise. That actually devalues the watch, in my humble opinion. I do not like James Bond at all. Yeah, and now I'm just rambling. So I've shown you a bunch of Omega watches. Which one would you choose, and which one do you like the least? As always, if you like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down, tell me what you didn't like. And if you liked it really much and would like to see more, please consider subscribing. With that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye bye, my friends.